Today I will contrast strict and loose constructionist views of the Constitution of the United States. Strict construction is for state rights. Thomas Jefferson was a part of the Democratic Republic. He was all for strict construction. He wanted the power of the national government limited to what was allowed by the Constitution.
Loose construction is more power of the national government, necessary and proper power to run the government. That's where necessary and proper clause come from. And Alexander Hamilton represented the Federalists. The big importance of strict and loose construction is the basis for the forming of political parties under President Adams. Strict is Democratic and Republicans with Jefferson and Madison, and loose is Federalists with Hamilton and Adams. Hamilton proposed a Bank of the United States, and this bank would be a powerful private institution, and the government would be a major stockholder. The federal treasurer would deposit money into it, and it would print paper money and stimulate business.
Jefferson argued against this bank. Jefferson believed that all people should follow exactly what was stated and allowed in the document, and anything not given to the federal government in the Constitution would be given to the states and the people. When it came to the bank, Jefferson believed in a strict interpretation as well. Alexander Hamilton thought that you could take whatever action you wanted as long as the document did not specifically say you couldn't do it. Hamilton believed in loose construction and the National Bank. Hamilton's argument convinced George Washington, who signed the bill to the National Bank. In the court case McCollum v. Maryland, J. Marshall declared it constitutional to create a second national bank under the necessary and proper clause. This gave the federal government a lot of power to regulate private commerce as well. It was a loose interpretation because the power for Congress to do so was not actually stated, but could be supported by the Constitution properly. We haven't had a strict interpretation of constitutional powers in 192 years.
Jefferson believed that only the states had the power to charter the banks. He also believed that there was no authorization in the Constitution, and he was convinced that all powers not specifically granted to the central government were reserved to the states, supported by the 10th Amendment in the Bill of Rights. The theory of strict construction was embraced by the faction anti-federalists and a political party that they would soon emerge into the Democratic Republicans. Hamilton's argument convinced Washington, who signed the bank into law in 1791.
After much debate between the loose and strict constructionists, Congress approved the bank by a thin margin, granting it a 20-year charter in February of 1791.